Okay, Kirsten, we're going to take a look at your underwater view on your butterfly. And as we advance forward at that entry point, okay, again, I think that it's not near as it's disruptive at the surface, but once you get into the water, the wrists are a little straighter, hands are a little straighter. I do think it causes a little more width in terms of when you're starting the pull. As we're learning about flying nowadays, we try to be a little bit closer with those hands at the beginning of the catch. And I think the way that you have your hands turned, it forces the hands to be a little bit wider. So if we can get the hands a little straighter, I think it'll be a little more narrow up front, and that will help you a little bit. We go out a little bit, but I think you're a little wider than what you really want to be. As you get to this point, bringing the hands underneath the body really tight, good power through that part. I think that they come in maybe a little too aggressively towards the chest. They could be just a little bit further apart so they stay closer at this point. They get a little too wide too soon. I would like to see them stay a little bit closer together at this point underneath the hips, a little further back. You can see they're widening out from your chest, and they just get wider and wider as they push through the finish of the stroke. If you can just keep them a little closer at this point, maybe not so close, just under your chin, and come in closer towards the chest, and then keep that through the hips a little bit more. I think that'll help you a lot, holding onto that water for a little more power. But you do a very good job of getting them underneath the body, so I really like that part. Here's a good view. Hands entering the water. This is a good position to be in. I mean, I'm going to look for this on every flyer that we start a video with. That's hands up here, chest here, so you got a good low chest, hips up here, so you got that power triangle, that inverted triangle that we're looking for on flyers. That creates a lot more power in the catch up front. So that's really good. You have that. You kick is down, the feet are down at this point. They could be a little deeper, but it's still a pretty good, solid position to be in for your kick out front. As you come here, the forearms could get a little vertical a little bit earlier, so they could be a little bit quicker into that position. They trail a little bit longer. I'd like it just about 2 inches into that catch, which is going to give even more power up front. But you're fairly close. It's just timing a little bit, I think. Again, good underneath the body there. They widen just a little bit too early towards the hips, but other than that, pretty good. Finish of the kick. It's a little flat back here if I back it up a little bit. No, that's actually pretty good. You're getting good depth extension on the kick. So, kicking, both kicks are pretty good, pretty solid. Could get a little more snap, but other than that, they look nice. Just held on to a little bit longer through that part of the stroke. Again, head down. Maybe tuck the chin just a little bit more early on in this part of the stroke. But other than that, I like the way that you're swimming your butterfly. The one thing that you have is a little bit too much disturbance up front when you're entering the water, but you definitely change, the wrist position, the hand position once you get in the water fairly quickly, and it's good for the stroke. Now, when you come into the turn, let's watch the turn here as we go through the wall. Again, head comes out pretty early. I'd like to see the head stay down a little bit longer, so you're a little bit lower in the water for that tuck. Mechanics are pretty good. Hands get together in the streamline. Like to see the feet just a little bit higher. If they're here and your angle's here, I'd like to see the angle be just a little bit steeper. so that the feet are just a little higher and you're angling a little bit more downward in terms of the push off. So as we come off the wall, you got good depth, but it could be a little bit deeper, a little aggressive, and you need to kick all the way through into that first stroke. So if we back it up, there's a dead space that happens right here. I think you could use one more kick before you get into that breakout stroke. But again, fairly good overall. Just here is a better view of that arm. When I was talking before, you can just see you're just a little bit flat here. I'd like to see that elbow just a little higher, so more here, and then a little bit more vertical with that forearm, and that will get you into your catch phase a little bit better and a little bit stronger. Mechanically, looks good. Our biggest hurdle is just trying to get you to get cleaner up front. There's just a lot of disturbance that happens when you're entering the water, and you don't see it from the underwater, but from the above water you can really see it. And it's just turning those hands and turning those wrists that create that. So, and I think that'll help you take this energy that you're creating, because you have a good finish to your stroke, you're kicking well, and your forward momentum's being stymied a little bit just by that hand entry. And if we can get that a little cleaner, I think it's going to help you move forward faster into your stroke.